Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Football Harsh Reality. Set your lineup Saturday. This was supposed to start. I'm here on Facebook Live and on Instagram Live, and this was supposed to start at around at 1 o'clock. But I completely forgot. Hey, Aviv, what's going on? Just talking fantasy football. Set your lineup Saturday. People have matchup questions, so that's what we're here to do. Is talk. Eric Seaford, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the show. Any matchup? Let's talk matchups. There's some big injury news that has to be taken into account. Godwin ruled out. I have Godwin, but I wisely decided to pick up Scotty Miller. Which Scotty Miller is that guy that you saw him last week, and you're like, why is he throwing it to that guy? How come that guy keeps getting targeted? And it was because, this, you got to think about it. Wes Welker, Julian Edelman, this shifty little, and I would hope that it's coincidental that they're all little white guys, but it seems like that's, what Tom Brady trusts. It seems like that's what he absolutely trusts. So, Bobby, what's going on? Carol, how are you? Welcome. I put Boyd in for Godwin. There you go. And Boyd had a great game. Luckily, he had a great game. Let's talk about that Thursday game. Because Thursday, that game, first of all, I said it was going to be a get-right game for the Cleveland Browns, and it was. And I think you see that they're going to absolutely have to rely on the running game. The running game looked fantastic. I had Nick Chubb, but I also had Jarvis Landry. Wah, wah. So it was the OBJ night. The volume wasn't there because the running game was working so great. So luckily Chubb, he got like 27 points. So for me, he carried Jarvis Landry. But what the fuck is happening with AJ Green? I mean, that's the, and I guess I feel bad. Brian Bentley, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. And Bart Baggett, how are you? We're talking fantasy football. A lot of good stuff happening tomorrow. I love this stuff. If you have any lineup questions, or anybody you're going back and forth with, for me, I'm pretty much, the only real changes I made to my lineups was I put in Jared Cook for Rob Gronkowski. I mean, last week I thought Rob Gronkowski would be that safety blanket, but it looks like it's this Scotty Miller guy. So back to AJ Green. I had told somebody they were like AJ Green or Darius Slayton. And the thing with Darius Slayton, even though I think he's going to have a great season and probably be the number one for the Giants, I am worried about going up there to Chicago because Chicago is like, come alive, and they still have great pieces on defense. So I feel like maybe they're going to be a little onto him. But and AJ Green, 13 targets. Come on, man. And you got 3 receptions. You missed. I mean, although it did seem like when he was throwing it out, he was throwing it out towards AJ Green. But I mean, there were a lot of missed opportunities there. The guy I'm against had AJ Green. Oh, yeah. So you were happy. Yes. So, hey, Brian. So, yes, Gronk is old as fuck. That is true. But I like rejuvenated players. He was a superstar. And again, being new in that offense, I thought, not knowing the timing with the other guys yet, we see how important that chemistry is. Like Joe Burrow, he just couldn't connect with AJ Green. But you like that kind of target share. That's unreal. But Gronk went out there. He got that first pass and got shot down at the knees. And he got up like, and you could tell he went back to the huddle and was like, look, Tom, don't throw me the ball no more. I want to play the whole season. I don't want to go out. Which, by the way, I think something I said early is proving itself to be very true, which is when you don't have preseason and the first game is full speed, full contact on your starters, you're going to wind up with a lot of injuries. And I think we're seeing that with a ton of hamstring injuries and a ton of knee injury because they're just they went full steam right out of the gate instead of those warm up. I knew that this was going to be the side effect of it. Okay, so wait a minute. So we did have some matchup questions. Let's see. Gronk is old as fuck. Gronk looks like he's running in concrete cleats. It's game one. Game one, guys. Don't get crazy. It's game one. Hey, Jessica, how are you? How are the Stars? I mean, is the conservatory all safe? I hope it is. What else? Wilson or Dak? Leaning towards Dak. I gotta tell you, I would lean towards Wilson because right now Wilson's playing lights out. He's at home, although no 12th man, totally get that. This New England defense is decent, but it's not the same as last year. They lost some big pieces. And Dak, unfortunately, we wanted to see it last week. We wanted to see the big, 3,000-yard receiver, and it didn't really happen. And even though it's a great matchup against Atlanta, I think that Wilson this season is almost, and it's not just because I'm a Wilson too. Listen, greatness runs in Wilsons. But I don't think, I think he's almost matchup proof this season. I think Russell Wilson is going to have a phenomenal season. I think for me, the safer play is Russell Wilson. But as always, go with your gut. Do the thing, whatever you want to do, you do that. Because I don't want you to be like, you told me to do this. Listen, I just reason it with you. I just reason it out with you. Ryan or Stafford, I got to go with Ryan on that one. I mean, he scored a ton of points. And Ryan out of the gate did not look that great. And then they had to start slinging it. I would expect that same thing to kind of happen again. So, what do we got here? Oh, here we go. Malcolm Brown or Paris Campbell in the flex. Ooh. Who are the Colts up against again? Let me just quick refresh. Colts are up against the Vikings. Although, again, not the Vikings of old. They're younger at the corners. So he has the Vikings, and then the other one is Malcolm Brown, LA versus Philly. Here's the thing. At least you know Malcolm Brown's going to carry the ball. At least you know Malcolm Brown's going to touch the ball. Paris Campbell, I know he saw a bunch of targets last week, but, first week, there was no connection yet with T.Y. Hilton. He might connect with T.Y. Hilton and forget all about Paris Campbell this week, whereas Malcolm Brown is going to carry the ball. So for me, the safe play is probably Malcolm Brown. That's what I'm thinking there. Let's see what else we have here. So Ryan, I like Ryan over Stafford. And Detroit, who are they playing? Green Bay, right? I mean, I just am not a big fan of Stafford. Just like I'm not a big fan of Joe Mixon. There's some guys that I'm like, they're never going to live up to the expectation. They're just not going to do it. And that is definitely how I feel about Matt Stafford. Matt Ryan seems to, he was slinging the ball last week. So for me, Matt Ryan, but again, go with your guy. The person I'm playing has 2 players out, and he hasn't moved. Oh, he hasn't moved them yet into his lineup. He hasn't fixed them. Would you say something or no? Absolutely not. Listen, this is on him. He's got a fucking. That's what you listen. We're playing at the same table, so you do not owe him a yes. You don't need to remind him. Ostensibly, he'll check later tonight, or he'll check it in the morning. So, because listen, I was up against that last week. He didn't know that the guy I was up with, Jay Hollingsworth, who I beat, but he had Miles Sanders still in his lineup, and I'm like, I ain't saying shit. I'm not a fucking, a reminder app needed to tell you to set your lineup. So I didn't, but of course he got to it late at night. Hey, what's up, Manny? Welcome to the show. Manny says Stafford has played well versus the Packers. So historically, if that's accurate, really when you talk about Matt Ryan or Matt Stafford, it's kind of a coin toss. And they both have, Dallas didn't look incredibly unbeatable against the pass. You saw what Robert Woods was able to get off on in the first half last week. So, flip a coin on that one, I guess. But yeah, you don't have to say shit to them. If they don't figure it out, they don't figure it out. Naheem Hines or Tariq Cohen. Now that's very interesting, Ali. And because they just gave Cohen, they just gave him a contract, I believe, and just paid him a bunch of money, so they clearly like him. But I think Montgomery is supposed to still be playing. And Naheem Hines, I know he had a lot of targets last week. But, I expect this to be the Jonathan Taylor show this week. I expect it to be very heavy Jonathan Taylor this week. So I'm going to have to agree with Manny on this one. I'm going to say Tariq Cohen. I think Tariq Cohen's going to have more opportunity. Especially now that Mitch is finally able to suddenly throw the ball, then that benefits Tariq Cohen. Montgomery or Howard? Well, Howard, listen, apparently Howard's getting demoted. Apparently Gaskin, and now they're going to give Breida a few more touches, but it looks like Howard is falling, which I said, but I thought he would just get beat by Breida. I didn't think that this Gaskin dude was going to come out of nowhere, but it looks like he has, and it looks like they're going to be using it, so I wouldn't touch Howard. I would stick with Montgomery in that one, and that's for sure. Who are playing me with have someone in the lineup who is out. That's true, Scott. I do sometimes like to do that. Yeah, if they're against you and they have the If they have, okay, is Sutton playing this week? You know, I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's see if Cortland Sutton is playing because I don't know most recently. So let's look at players. We'll find that out. There we go. He's questionable. Right now, he is questionable. Broncos said Cortland Sutton, shoulder questionable, will be. He's a game time decision. Look, you don't want to fuck with a game time decision. Because even if he gets out there, they're going to try to protect him, so they're not going to throw him the ball a lot. So he'll be like, in case of emergency, and he's dead open, they're going to throw it to him. But otherwise, I'd say his volume is going to be nil because they're going to try and protect him. So for me, I would stay away from Cortland Sutton as a game time decision. That just doesn't bode well for anybody. What's up, Jeff Reagan? Good to see you. And Scott also believes that he doubts Sutton plays. Listen, exact game time decision, even if he does play, you don't play him because it's not like he's like, oh, I'm ready to go. Like, no, they're going to protect him. They're not going to throw the ball. He's mostly he's going to be like a decoy is what he's going to be. So that's what we have there. Everyone agrees on Cohen. It's a coin toss on Matt Stafford. Now, I got to tell you, okay, so I'm the guy that's been saying, be careful with, I know you have to play Aaron Rodgers. You have to play him because he scored 4 touchdowns and he looked fantastic. You got to play him. You got Aaron Rodgers. You got to play him. But I'm not playing him in daily fantasy because of what happened last year after, you remember the 5-touchdown game, and then he sucked the next week when I traded for him, put him in the lineup, and lost because he stunk. Now, having said that, this is a great matchup. This is a great matchup for against Detroit. I mean, if anything, it's going to be I think a heavy pass game, and so it's going to be hard to see where he doesn't duplicate it. So it should, by all means, it should probably work out pretty good. But don't be surprised if it doesn't work out. If he does what he's done before. You know, he tends to have those incredible games because he's older now. But who knows? Maybe the whole Jordan Love thing, and he's like, no, fuck no, I'm still the fucking man. He's sticking with what does this say? Staying away from that, going to start Tyreek Hill instead. Yes, start Tyreek. I mean, look, of course, start Tyreek Hill. You know, yes, great players are going to. Hey, Tarun, what's up, man? Of course, great players are going to have an occasional bad game, and week 1 is an aberration. And don't think for one second they are not going to be absolutely focused on getting Tyreek involved in the game this week. And I mean, when you saw it, I mean, Kansas City didn't look quite as explosive last week. I mean, it was a lot of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but they didn't, Patrick Mahomes did not throw for 300 yards even, let alone 400 yards. It wasn't a big aerial show because they didn't get him involved. I think this week they focus on getting Tyreek Hill involved. He's a must start. I mean, you can't even think about replacing him with anybody else. Breeze instead of Rodgers, coin toss. No, Rodgers definitely over Breeze because Breeze doesn't have Michael Thomas. I'm benching Breeze this week actually for Cam Newton, and because Cam he's the goal line runner. You're basically getting a second running back right now. That's what it looks like over there. That he's going to take the ball in himself, which diminishes the value of Sony Michel and those other guys, Burkhead and James White. So I like him. Whereas Drew Brees, I mean, I think it's great for Jared Cook. I'm starting. If you have Jared Cook, play Jared Cook. Play him in daily fantasy. I think he's going to have a big game. But without Michael Thomas and without the chemistry really being there yet with Emmanuel Sanders, I don't know. I think it's going to be a heavy run game. And in fact, if you have Latavius Murray, I think this is a week you could play Latavius Murray in the flex. I wouldn't play him as a starter, as one of your RB1, RB2s. Look at the way it looks like he's the one talking. It looks like Darth Vader. Hey, I don't even like this. Anyway, sorry, that was the other camera. That was the one over there for Instagram. I forgot I think Latavius Murray is going to see a lot of action this week. Again, because of Michael Thomas being out, I don't think they're going to throw. I think they're going to try and run the ball all the time. Yeah. Michael Thomas is out, so I think you could. I really do think you could play. And I wouldn't say that most weeks. Most weeks I would think Latavius Murray, obviously boom or bust. Does he get a touchdown? Does he not get a touchdown? But this week with Michael Thomas out, the chemistry not really being there just yet with Emmanuel Sanders, I think Latavius Murray is going to have I think it's going to be all Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara could wind up the RB1 this week. I think he was second last week behind Josh Jacobs. So Murray versus his old team, the Raiders. Yes, flex for sure. Yeah, man, exactly. That's right. Revenge. Oh, on Monday night, no less. Oh, my God, yes. And if he's on the waiver wire or in daily fantasy, you got to save some money, throw Latavius in the flex. I need to make a note of that myself. I'm like, seriously, I'm going to go do a daily fantasy lineup, and I'm going to launch it with having Latavius in the flex. I think he's going to have a big game. Hey, Chaz man, the Chaz man. It's got the red wine going. You guys come over. We're gonna have a Cabernet Sauvignon. Oh man, here we go. Okay, we're back. I don't know. It went out for a second. Hopefully, it's still going. On Instagram, the Facebook one seems to be pretty steady. Okay. You're playing Big Ben over Deshaun. And I have to say, I completely agree with that. I mean, first of all, Deshaun has got we've seen what this Ravens defense is doing, and it's doing some serious damage. And then Big Ben's been playing, and he has a decent. I mean, Denver is going to be a much more difficult defense than the Giants. I mean, the Giants, that was here. Feel better. Get back on track, Big Ben. Here you go, buddy. Just beat up on these. And he was zoom. But Denver is a far superior defense to the Giants, and so it's not gonna be quite as easy. But I love his options. The connection rejuvenated itself with Juju Smith-Schuster, which is one of the things I was counting on as a Juju owner. I reached for Juju too because I was like, I think it's gonna be a big comeback here. And Watson without Nuke, I mean, Will Fuller, he ain't the same without Nuke. Like Nuke made Will also, he made everybody else great. I just don't know. Big Ben or Wentz, I would definitely go Big Ben. Carson, although, here's the thing. Don't be surprised if this is a bounce back week for Carson Wentz. Because Carson actually looked really great in the first half of that game. And then the line fell apart, everything fell apart, and he was demolished. Now, the other side of that is they have a very tough matchup. Is it the Rams with Aaron Donald? Go with Big Ben. Stick with Big Ben. The Aaron Donald's going to be fucking up his ass all fucking day, dude. Big Ben might retire after, or Carson Wentz might retire after this weekend with Aaron Donald. So, because if the Washington defense was able to get to him like that, oh boy, he's in for a long day, Carson Wentz. I don't want to be him. Juju does look good. Go Juju. I know. I reached for him in the third round because to me, between that and the 20, because I was on the end cap as the first pick, between that and the 20 picks around, I was like, I feel like he's going to have a dominant season, and I think it continues on Sunday. I'm looking for. I think it's a Sunday night game too, aren't they? Let's go back to the schedule. The night game is Seahawks Patriots is the night game. So listen, and again, Cam shines under the lights. That's why I like Cam Newton this week. Let's see, what else we got here? Sit Wentz. Fuller will bust this week. I agree with that. Sit Wentz. Absolutely. Sit Carson Wentz. He's going to have a tough day against the Rams defense. That Rams defense, you saw what they were doing to Dallas. And Dallas, I know, they're not the powerhouse offensive line that they were like 3-4 seasons ago. I know. So, but they're still good, and they still have a few decent pieces, and they've drafted, again, we'll see how it is at the end of the year, but they're not a terrible offensive line now, and what it looks like is that the Philly is a terrible offensive line, although having Miles Sanders back should help them out tremendously, but I think, if anything, they're just going to have to hand it to him and hope he can do something, because I think Carson Wentz is going to be getting his lunch eaten all fucking every suck lunch. Let's see. Good to see you, Chaz, man. You're the best. Richard Chasler, everybody. Very funny comedian. Look him up if you have a chance. Get cute and start Mitch over Wentz. Whoa, that is getting cute. Oh my God. Oh, that is tough. I mean, you know, that is getting cute. Wow. If I were Adam Rank, I would tell you absolutely, but I'm not and so I'm a realist about Chicago. And I mean, it was one game, and he had to pull it out of his ass at the end of the. Although it is against the Giants, which is a great matchup for him, and far superior one to Wentz. I mean, if it's Mitch over Wentz, yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because he's starting to scramble again, and when he scrambles, he gets leg yards. He keeps things going, and I think that's been the missing component. So honestly, because again, Wentz was, Aaron Donald, you saw it, but that's on you. You make the call. I'm not making the call for you. We're just chopping it up. We're just chopping it up. And by the way, I love this. I love chopping it up so much. This is great stuff. By the way, today I was offered a trade. I was offered Kareem Hunt for Hollywood Brown. And Hollywood Brown's one of those guys that I think is going to have a monstrous season. But Kareem Hunt is clearly going to have a monstrous season too. Let me ask you guys, should I close the deal now before the weekend? Because my feeling is I can't play Kareem Hunt, but if we put this through today and they put it through the commissioner, then he could potentially play Brown, Hollywood tomorrow. And so I'd kind of be out of a guy who I think is going to have a great game tomorrow. So what would you guys do? Would you pull the trigger and risk things changing over the weekend? Maybe one of his receivers actually busts out. He has Brandon Cooks. He has some other guys. This could be the week that Brandon Cooks breaks out. We don't know. We could see that. Ali says Hunt is safer. That's true. Yeah, because less wear and tear. But he's also going to see fewer snaps, for sure, than Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown, I think, is seeing like 80% of the snaps right now. And Hunt, especially, Hunt is also game script dependent. Because if they start going, if they stay with a great run game, well, no, I guess not. Because even when they go to a pass game, then they put in Hunt. So really, it's just a matter of how good they're doing as to whether or not he comes in. But again, he's definitely more game script dependent, whereas Hollywood Brown, he's just always going to be there. So Tamer, what's up, buddy? Good to see. Are you across the ocean still? Are you still in Europe? I see you still making moves. I see you making moves on the team, and I'm like, yeah, he's in it. He's in it. I love it. Brown is the bell cow. Exactly, Tim Bateman. That's exactly my feeling. He is, the man in the receiving game and let's also take this into consideration. As we saw last week, the defenses are really trying to key on stopping Lamar Jackson from running. He ran for 45 yards last week. You can tell. So what happens is when he starts to run, it sucks up the defense. And that just opens up the passing game. And I think that Marquise Brown is the beneficiary of them trying to stop Lamar from running all season long. I don't think that changes. I'm going to put the trade... I'm going to pull the trade until the game in case Brown gets injured, but we can throw the trade back out after the game. That's totally fine. I understand that could absolutely happen. So good to see you too. And you're in Barcelona. Barcelona. They speak the Spanish like this in Barcelona. The Castilian Spanish in Barcelona. I just accepted a trade Mixon for Brown and Cook. Interesting. Hope it works out. Wait a minute. So who did you get? You gave up Marquise Brown and Jared Cook for Joe Mixon? You're off your nut on that one. If you gave up Mixon and got Brown and Cook, now I like you. But someone ripped you off. If you gave up Marquise Brown and Jared Cook for Joe Mixon. That's a terrible... Somebody fucking... Oh, my God. They got the hand down your pants. Malcolm Brown. Okay, so you got Malcolm Brown. Or you traded away Malcolm Brown and Jared Cook for Joe Mixon. Which way did this go? I got to know which way it went. I got to know whether or not I'm going to yell at you. Oh, you gave up Mixon. Oh, that guy's an idiot. That guy's fucking stupid. That's great. Good work. You got that. You took him. Thank you very much. Someone says, yo, these comedy clubs need to open up. I want to see your stand-up again. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, Ali, that is the definition of trade rape, which is probably maybe one of those terms we should probably not use so much anymore. But and thank you, Mixed Tats, or Wix Tats? Wix Tats. I would love to come to wherever you're at and perform stand-up again. I am playing it very safely during all of this. I know a lot of people are rushing out to start performing right away. I am not one of those people. In fact, I'm going to do a podcast this week called No Regrets, which is going to be the episode 2 of my Son of a Preacher Man series. And in that, I'm going to talk about how, I don't really mind sitting this out. I don't mind sitting out because I've done so much stand-up and been out every night and for so long. I'm cool, I'm cool. But once it's safe, man, I will be back out there. Although I am currently planning to perform at the El Paso Comic Strip over Thanksgiving. I'll already be home. I'll be there to see my family. And so I am booked so that's the one that I have on the books. And if it doesn't seem safe, if we're in the middle of some big, second or third wave or whatever, then I may be like, you know what, I can't do it. So, because I am trying to play it safe because I'm old and I've been smoking a lot of weed for a long time. All right. Moving on. But thank you very much. I can't wait to get out there and do stand-up again. So, so you did a great, you played Laughs last weekend. Lots of fun. Felt very safe, checking temps, everyone wearing masks. And listen, if they're wearing masks, I think they need to put up a plexiglass around the stage. Every other you go to the grocery store, you go to, where there's a plexiglass. Why don't we put one around the stage? I mean, the speakers go around it. I mean, that way there's, that barrier that I feel we should have. That would certainly make me feel a lot better if they started doing that. And I think it would mean more but I guess if you're indoors and they had the masks on, that certainly makes it feel a lot better. Haley, welcome to the show. We're just talking a little fantasy football. And I'm looking at myself on this, I'm like, God, I've been running. I've been trying to beat back the COVID weight that I put on when I was fucking panic eating and drinking and, fucking just mainlining milkshakes during all this. And so I've been running down, look at myself in this thing. I'm like, God, I'm still so fucking fat. But listen, I'm working on it. We're all trying. The store is doing that. The Comedy Store, they're doing that. They're putting up a glass around the stage. A play. That's great. See, that's exactly what I think we need to do because we're spitting. We're emoting. We're not worried, we're not, it isn't a civil conversation where we're just trying, So, what is this? Saw pictures, haven't went yet. Oh, okay, so you've seen pictures. Yeah, and if they are, I wish every comedy club would follow suit and put a plexiglass around the stage. Although it's going to be funny because some comics spit their fucking asses off. And we see it on the side of the stage. We can see it all just, And I have to admit, I'm a wet mouth too, man. I see it sometimes. I'm like, ugh. In fact, let me tell you a little funny. Let me tell you a funny little story. One time I was doing a show and I'd been getting over being sick. I wasn't sick anymore. I'm doing a show in New York. But I was still kind of coughing it up a little bit. It was still, a little, okay. And so, I swear to God, so I'm talking and I'm like, yay, and I'll tell you something. And I mean, this loogie, perfect, and I see it flying out, towards the audience. And I don't know how, it was one of those, but I just like a ninja, I went, and I fucking caught it. Like, I went, and I caught, I felt it happening, and I fucking caught it. And the audience, they just thought I, for some reason, decided to throw a fist in the middle of my act. And then I just took that loogie, and I just put it in my bucket. And that's what I did with it. And that's how I finished the set. Well, guys, look. Everyone have this is all true, Ali, this is all true. Thank you guys so much. I love Laughs in Tucson, but again, I'm waiting till things really till we at least have a viable treatment. I mean, they did the plasma thing. Anyways, we'll get into it. You understand what's happening. So thank you, Scott Berman. Scott Berman gave me a big wow on the, yes, that's a completely true story. That's what happened. You guys, super fun. Everyone have a great, Sunday, football Sunday. Go Cowboys. They're playing at 10 a.m. When did the Cowboys play at 10? But anyways, Cowboys, 10 a.m. Go Cowboys. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, Fantasy Football Harsh Reality, on Apple Podcasts, as well as on SoundCloud. And eventually I'll get around to putting it on Google Play. All right, see you guys soon. I love you guys. Enjoy that football, man. I can't wait. Woo! Oh, and also enjoy the fights tonight. I have to admit, I think Colby Covington's probably going to win, but Lord knows I'm rooting for Whitney. All right, guys, take care.